recording this because this is going somewhere in a very strong way.
Okay.
That I would do the same at my location too. And I would have a deep burden. And I'm not correlating that you are feeling exactly like this, but just stay with me for a moment because I want you to be your best client because of the healing, but it's just in alignment with retreats in your business and your speaking. Then, so I've been here almost 17 years. And when I started doing this work that I'm going to have you do, we're going to land this somewhere, and I don't know where this is going, so just play with me for a moment. That I want you to go through the full circle of feeling how I felt, or feeling how Shannon, I think, Boyer felt of coming in, or a future client that you're giving resources to, but you're sharing with them how your horses are healing for them. When you get to do that, it's going to bring high gratitude and all the things that are plucked around that are positive, positive, positive around your acreage. When you give yourself the practice of that, I'm not going to tell you how you're going to feel because I don't want to put any words, but I know that there's going to be a shift. And that's what we are working on so that you can travel and have fun, but you can learn how to create an oasis right there in your ranch. When you do, okay, so let that land for you of there's something very special in this thing of what we're going to give you opportunity to do, and it depends on how deep you connect with this. So I'll make sure that I do the best I can.
Okay.
You're driven by money. We all are as entrepreneurs, so I'm going to put it to you that way first, and then I'll go into your emotional space, and then I'm not going to say any names since this is being recorded. Let's be careful with this moving forward, but I want to make sure that what you are dealing with right now, that you're able to scrub that and really scrub that clean in your emotional space and components of your day so you don't always carry it around with you. And the way to do that is to be able to be your best client. So I'm going to backtrack. This is almost like the beginning of your meditation, by the way, just kind of a feeling, and let's go through this journey together. When you get to feel a shift that's something different in a place that you have been year over year, and you recognize that shift of relief coming off of you because you are going in and you are doing what you would set up as part of your retreat. And you say, okay, I need to clean that. And you go, nope, backtrack. I'm going to open this door. I'm going to walk through, and it's going to have roses, and I'm going to paint the door. I'm going to walk through that threshold, and I'm going to see how I feel if I put on these rosebud, beautiful glasses where I can see the river. I can see the fire pit and the flow. If I walk in there and I see what healing components there are for myself, then as soon as I feel that, I can deeply translate it to a big high income flow because people will want to be there. Because I want to have that land for a moment. Because if you feel it authentically, you already know it, but when you feel it, it just comes across so deep. Now you can speak to it, and when you decide you're going to have your next retreat, you're going to already feel those healing components happen. Now you show up deeper as an expert and talk about those healing components. Not just what you heard in your retreat, but you get to express it. You are going to engage more people oh gosh, I need to be there. This is different. I don't know many people that do this, that feeling. So when you go around and you travel and you have your signature talk, that it translates so easy because people want healing. They want to get away. They want to know that there's a Mecca that they can go to and that you have personally felt this. And these are the people that have felt it too. I'm going to hold that for a moment. It'll open ample opportunity for you for things that you can't even see yet for yourself. It's almost like taking the cap off your head, and all of a sudden this glass that you didn't know was there shatters, and you deeply believe in everything you say and never feel like a fraud. It's easy to fall into that. Working in that space is going to bring you more income, and that will translate, and you'll know what avenues and how and where, but it's going to manifest to a high level. You're going to be at a higher frequency. With your mindset, let's go mindset. When you are doing the things, because there's a lot of work in a ranch, when you're doing your things, it's going to shift something for you that doesn't feel like it's all work. I don't know how that's fully going to land, how that's fully going to feel in your body, but there's some flow that is being clogged right now that you're going to be able to open up and be able to experience things in a different way every day. Your health, when you're at home, it's going to change in how you feel in your body. So you can be in your house and feel this stress. You know, wake up in the morning and you're just feeling this crap. But maybe as soon as you go to your table, you remember those conversations. And the feeling of gratitude, being able to hear people talk and watch people laugh and breathe that in. Your body's more open. You're stressing your body. It's still there, but you're starting to open it up more. Then you go out and you get your fresh air. Now that air, you're around all the nature. The stuff that you love, that's why you have this ranch. It's not just because it's John's ranch and it was his ex-wife's and you're living with this. It's that you chose John. And that you live where there's trails and water and these animals that are roaming. Whatever is important to you, that's out there for you. And in your gratitude, health, mindset, and business, like all that coming together, what you're dealing with right now, I want you, it's going to take a few days and some steps. There may be some additional meditation that has to happen. But I want you to breathe and find out where your body takes you by asking the question, what makes me the happiest here? And just start walking around and seeing where that takes you. If you need real big healing for the day, it may take you to the horses right away. If you need to hear some sounds of something moving, it might be your chickens. It might be that you take a walk to the stream or you drive so you don't do that walk, whatever it is. When you allow yourself to listen to your body and where it takes you, you're going to have this feeling that you have been your best client for that day, that you've created the purpose and the reason why you've wanted to have these retreats and what has been clogging your energy. You'll have big ahas because you'll feel that you're living in a flow and allowing yourself to go where, because things are going to get done, but give yourself, like, I would say 5 days of playing with this and write in your journal and see where it takes you, because your body's going to flow different ways every day depending on where this takes you. Sometimes you're going to be where you're hearing stuff. You're hearing stuff and you need to go somewhere where there's sound. Sometimes it's just a feeling. You may need to go somewhere where it's more quiet, where maybe it's the horse thing, because the horses are going to help, with their energy to stabilize and protect you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I love this. I love where it's going. Very inspiring. Very inspiring.
You're in a very hard space. Nobody can tell you how to work with this, move on. But we always come up with new ideas and new and refreshing stuff of what's here right now, just like our body. It's ever changing, so you can't do the same exact diet because your body will get clogged because something emotionally will happen and then it'll clog it. And there just needs to be a shift with your diet. Same thing with this. We're just allowing you to play, and you do need to have fresh approaches because it's going to get stale real quick because you're at a high, when you're dealing with your children, with family, it's at a high level where it's hard to get your mind away from it. So to be able to play with this and to be truthful for the journey, these refreshing ways of looking at things are going to allow you to play differently each time and give yourself more opportunity to have more open space that's not so stressful.
Good stuff. Really good stuff.
Good. I'm so sorry you're having a hard day. I'm so glad you're here then.
Me too. Very glad.
Yeah.
It's just that coming down feeling of, pushing hard and then my daughter's at the Mayo Clinic getting these scary diagnoses that is really weighing on my heart. Although I've had a lot of peace, I had this incredible peaceful feeling come to me. I was praying and meditating about her. I had this incredibly peaceful feeling that everything is going to work out, and to allow, my faith and my hope and my love to be my primary feelings, and stop letting this fear come in and this worry, because I need to be able to uplift her.
Yeah.
And myself.
Well, we have to help ourselves before we can help others, of course.
And sometimes it's harder on the mother than it is on the child to know that there's going to be suffering. It's the mother sometimes suffers more than the child.
Yep. Yeah. Because you have more experience and she's been in your womb and you just don't want anything. We've been protecting our kids, and then when they're adults, they're on this journey that you don't have really any say. You're just there watching.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a smooth ride for her. I envision that these three components you would be powerful if you could put them in your journaling. And they are that to keep capturing, and if you write it down, it's going to help you really see it, but the peaceful feeling and how that feels for that moment, because it'll go away real quick once you walk away. You're doing different things, and you're going to forget, and your mind is going to go on the other side. So the journaling can be very powerful in how that feeling is when you're in that peace, and any insight in how you got there, because it could be what you said, but it might be a separate component here, because it could be that you did something physical just for a walk, and all of a sudden it just like you just were in the zen. The other component that may be supporting that, but it may not be fully that, was the peace, the faith, your faith, hope, and love. And really, that's your base that you have been in congruent with all your life.
Yeah.
And so to talk about that is something that would be very precious in your journaling, like having, and the third is, what did you find that day that gave you, that where did your body take you? And how'd that heal for you? And it doesn't have to be a big healing, just any small open to big opening, but where did it take you for that at that moment? And if you put those three together, it could be two if we're combining peaceful feeling with faith, hope, and love. Or if we're using that peaceful is just because you started moving and your mind just went, what a relief. So it could be two components or three, but if you capture that in your journaling, it'll start making sense in this journey. It'll make it a little bit more layered. So we're not just doing the exercise of you walking outside and where does my body take me and how does it make me feel, but bring in your faith, bring in that spirit.
Yeah. It almost felt like a surprise when I had that peace flow over me. It almost felt like, oh, where did that come from? And I know it was just a gift, really, a divine gift, and also me exercising my faith.
Yeah. These special gifts that, it's like, okay, you've had enough. Let's throw in some really good stuff for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that journaling and doing it in a couple different layers will allow you, so when you open up the next day, you can see yourself moving and where that's taking you, so that you have the know. And what I believe is why this journaling would also be powerful is that that's going to share with you some stories when you have your next retreat. We're working on the stories for your talk too, because there is a component there about feeling high stress and in the most basic ways that you can relieve it. And you can share story. Doesn't mean people have to do exactly what you did, but sharing stories is what allows people to go into their creative mind and imagination for themselves. So it's a 2-layer thing for you of the purpose for this. How's that feel?
It feels really good. And it feels like if we take time to journal, like you're talking about, those feelings and those experiences and the story that our life is creating, it shows that we value it. and we treasure it, and we're capturing it because we love it. If we just let it fleet and fly away, like these spiritual impressions and that peace that I had was fleeting. It left.
Yeah.
And yet if I record it and treasure it and value it, I feel like it preserves it.
It reminds you, it helps build bigger and bigger. So you have, like, you feel like, here, I've been there. Yeah, I got this. That is you speaking in your mind. And we're going back here because we could go back. If this is the beginning of the hour, we could go back a little bit in your childhood and pull some things. And it probably next session that's going to happen because there's things back here that are being worked on. So now you're changing yourself at the cell level by moving your hand and being able to work through that. And I would use pen. And it feels more logical and sometimes even more painful. So you get to truly be there with the pain. Like what you said, I felt really big pain and I couldn't stop crying. That is actually really good. You just don't want it to happen in church every time because they may think,
yeah,
gosh, that church, is making me cry. But when you can feel that pain, that's my biggest thing for myself right now. After Jacob's incident 2 weeks ago and the triggers that I had within myself, that I knew that the next day I recognized a couple things of abuse in my situation that I could talk about it for days. But I never went back there to release the stress. So any insecurities are feeding off that specific incident that I know happened, that I need to go back and do some clearing and sit with it and make sure that I'm okay. My little girl that was dealing with this is okay, so that I can make our household even safer. I don't have as many triggers. This is where we're going for you, but we're just doing it in a different way that works for you and what you're working on. So I see this as being step 1. We're probably on step 2 or step 3 in what we've been talking about when we've gotten together and this information has come up that this is what you really need because it's making you tired and you want to feel vibrant more often. So I could see you coming in next time in a couple weeks discussing or Marco Polo me before that and discussing where this is taking you so that you keep moving forward in your journey and you're learning how to deal with this better and better so that, like 10 years from now, that Tamara goes through something again. And it feels like you're at the beginning of working through it. You can pull some of your old journals. You can pull that faith. You can see some of the exercises and go right back into strength a lot quicker. So you don't allow somebody else to control how you feel because it's so easy for us to do that especially when it's family.
I really like that. I like that awareness of not allowing somebody else to control how we feel. I like that. A light bulb went off in my mind when you said that.
Yeah. I'm right there and understanding why you're saying that, for sure. It's just terrible when somebody is going through a hard time or they're just mean people, people around us that we sometimes come across, and how that they all of a sudden get the power to decide on how we're going to feel because we just don't know how to use the tools. Do you feel like this is something that could be real powerful for you?
I absolutely do. I feel really a calmness came over me as these light bulbs went on. I feel more in control. And the control I like is calm control, calm and peaceful.
Yeah. That is so your personality. You know, and you are a very authentic person. So the next strategies that we have for the business aspect of it is that you show up in your purest of authenticity, because you show up well, is like what we said. But when you go through this, there's some massive movement that's going to help you display yourself differently on video. You'll be able to see the difference. I think that's all I can say right now, because this is your journey, and you're going to find what that means for you. But this is the way business is ran these days, is being able to see and hear people and share things that people want to hear. And there's a lot of people in pain. And if you're on that crusade, and if you hold it consistently and show up consistently grounded and just full of abundance, and sharing bad days too, you don't have to do names or anything, but just like share things, but know that you're sharing because you're creating positivity for somebody. So keeping light in it. Your life is going to be so much better when you're dealing with your big stuff. And then you'll be able to bring people in so easily, so easily. And we want that. We want you to feel like you have something so sustainable that you're not just like, what do I do next? What's going to happen next? It's just going to be. And that is the power of the self-work that you're doing.
I love it.
Okay.
Very peaceful.
Well, isn't this what we've been doing? Like, like we're just grounding this crap that people, our heads get wrapped into stuff, and sometimes we're not feeling good. There's been times where you physically haven't felt good, but we've been able to get through it by the grounding, because that's where the energy and the movement moving forward fast, because your brain gets to be there. And so that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Anything else I can do for you besides send you some more berries?
It's funny because they were kind of loose, and somebody had either opened it or tore it open, and there was missing ones, and they were kind of out. And so I thought, did they contaminate them, or was it like the post office saying, "Is this drugs? Do I need to test it?" I don't know, but somebody had gotten into it pretty big because the whole side was taped up.
I saw.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get you some more berries, because you know what's powerful about those berries is that it's a very calming. It's like high vitamin C, so good for your immune, and it's just it's like not big sweet too, so it's like a nice mild sweetness. A great way to do like a 5-day sugar balance thing within your body.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you.
I want to get those berries to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording. And
yeah.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
That's it. I'm sure I feel satisfied and full and happy.
Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a wonderful night. Tell John I said hello.